the inquiries we do have, which people do say, I listened to your podcast. So they'll fill out an inquiry form on our email. I listened to this episode. I found it really interesting. I want to know more of. And then they book into us. So it's been absolutely fantastic for growing the business and starting to get our name out there, our voice out there, other local businesses' voices, because that's really important to us as well. Because when we're working with different people and we're supporting small businesses, they do the same in return. There's so much give and take in the small business area of just people helping out each other. Hi, and welcome to the Small Business Podcast for small businesses. Now, it's an extra special episode today, not only because it's a podcast episode for small businesses, but it's our 100th episode today. So we've been doing this for 100 weeks, which is absolutely crazy. When we first started, it was a bit of an unknown, didn't really know what we wanted to do, how it was going to go. All I knew was I wanted to interview local businesses and share business knowledge, the stuff we say to people all the time. So basically free help, because it's so difficult nowadays to find information, find the right information, know it's true, know it's legal, know it's actually going to help you. Google's an absolute minefield now if you're Googling how do I. So we wanted to make one place for all local small businesses to come, so you can have a listen and you can pick, I'm doing awards, or I want to apply for an award. How would that help my business? Or social media, don't know what to post on social media anymore. Bookkeeping, obviously the most exciting episode we've ever done. How do I do my bookkeeping? What software should I use? Etc, etc. And within that, we've regularly interviewed local to us. So we're on the Suffolk-Essex border in East Anglia. And we've interviewed local small businesses just to hear their story. And the reason, or I suppose what we try and get out of that, is exactly their reasons of starting up the small business, what they do, how they started. Because it's very, very easy to go on social media nowadays and see, they've started a small business, they're smashing it, they're doing amazing, because a lot of people don't share how hard it was, that you nearly quit, what difficulties they had to go through, where their money's come from, how they started, etc, etc. So it was really, really important to us to get those stories out there, and stories from small businesses that you might not have heard of as well. I would love to have some of the really big names of podcasts on to interview, but it's just not going to happen. And actually, people will sell. They'll either probe for the X Factor story to make people cry, or they just want to sell. They're on there and they've been paid to be on there. So this, I've always kept, that people have come in to interview, and part of it as a thanks for interview, we promote them and we share. Yes, it would be awesome to have sponsors. It would be awesome for people to pay us to be on here as well, which is an avenue we're going down and what we're looking to do. But the podcast has evolved in that way, because now we've got the popularity, we've got the regular downloads, we have regular listeners, and I thank you all for those, because each and every person will message me and just say, I've listened this week, and let me know what they thought, which is really, really lovely to hear. And especially when it's a bit of constructive feedback as well, just to what they liked, what they didn't like. Because like with anything, so like social media, okay, you can see your reach. I can easily tell people, I reach 40,000 people a month on average on our social media, which sounds absolutely amazing. But we haven't got 40,000 people walking through these doors. We haven't got 40,000 inquiries coming in. But the inquiries we do have, which people do say, I listened to your podcast. So they'll fill out an inquiry form on our email. I listened to this episode. I found it really interesting. I want to know more of. And then they book into us. So it's been absolutely fantastic for growing the business and starting to get our name out there, our voice out there, other local businesses' voices, because that's really important to us as well. Because it's very, very easy to us to promote people that are like, oh, that's the ideally your target market. However, when we've interviewed certain people, they might not be your target market, but we've had a PT on, anyone can go and see a PT. We've had an artist on, anyone can go and do an art class. We've had a physio on, anyone can see a physio when they need them. So people that it's not as niche as you think it would be. So the chat is already there about them and their business and how they make it work and what makes them successful. But at the same time, they are for everybody. So there's just one listener who might be, oh, I've never thought of doing that before. Oh, I didn't even know what physio did. Oh, I'd never thought, I'm not an artist. I wouldn't book in to do an art class. And it just takes the little conversation for them to think, oh, I'm going to sign up to that, or I'm going to book that appointment. Oh, that PT sounds really, really good. Or vice versa. They'll tell a friend, oh, I listened to this episode the other day. So you'll notice when we end every episode, it's if you know someone that this might be interested, please share, please like, etc., etc. Because that's how we get out word of mouth, because it's free information. Podcast is just someone's time, and 9 times out of 10, if you're listening to this now, you're probably walking the dog, or you're driving, or you're doing chores at home. 9 times out of 10, no one is sat there just solely listening to a podcast. So yes, we're taking up time, but they're multitasking as well. So it's good time, it's valuable time of when people are listening and sharing. And thank you for that as well to anyone that's shared an episode or let someone know or passed on the information, because it doesn't just help us, it helps our clients, it helps those that we've interviewed. I had a phone call the other day from Dara, who was on, and he had someone inquire with him to book a holiday because they'd listened to the podcast. So it literally said, oh, we'd seen Farley share things on Breakout for you, but actually as well, we then listened to the podcast and we're like, oh, really, really love how he comes across, how he runs his business, what he's set up. So it's almost like a behind the scenes chat. And that was it. He got a client from that. And that's really, really important to us, because when we're working with different people and we're supporting small businesses, they do the same in return. There's so much give and take in the small business area of just people helping out each other, because as far as we're concerned, we're not in competition with anybody. There is enough work to go around whatever we do. So if we can collaborate with different people, then it's an absolute bonus, because 9 times out of 10, they might need their bookkeeping doing, or we might need to outsource social media for different things. So actually, we might do the same thing, but we can really help each other as well. And that's what's really important to us as well. So that's a long-winded thanks for listening and sharing and liking, etc. But some lessons we've learned on recording 100 podcasts is, number one, so glad I outsourced this. So these cameras I'm looking at now, these microphones, Liam sat in the background having to listen to me the first time, and he will have to listen to me another 10 million times to edit and record and get it up on. We use Buzzsprout for our podcasts, and that's the software that puts it out to Apple or wherever, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. That's the limit of my knowledge on it. So number one, so glad I outsourced that, because yes, I've had people come to me and they're like, oh, surely you could just sit with your laptop and record it and put it out there. Yeah, I probably could, but I don't have the time. I don't have the expertise. I wanted this to be a certain level of quality as well. I didn't want it to just be me on my laptop, because somehow that's like my reels, but just a bit longer as well. So we got straight away, we met Liam from Record and Repurpose at Business Expo. He was literally just starting out, and we welcomed him into the fold. He didn't have a choice, and he's now part of the team. So he does all of the techie stuff behind it. So number one, 100% we're glad we outsourced it from the get-go, because also we didn't have that change in terms of, oh, it's like this, but now it's like that, because he checks that the sound is right. He does the jingles. So everything you hear when it finally comes together, that's all Liam. I literally just sit here and chat. So, and if you do see him, buy him a pint, because you have to listen to my voice over and over again every single week. So he'd really appreciate that. Thank you. The second thing is the consistency. Now, if you're thinking of doing a podcast, then 100% you could do. I've got clients that have done a series of podcasts, so maybe just short 8 episodes. Clients that do it for a season, maybe it's a summer winter thing for when if your business is seasonal. If you have some downtime in the winter, you might have to do episodes then. So we chose to do a podcast episode every single week. That was completely our personal choice. We didn't have to do that, but we did it because we wanted to show the consistency. We wanted to get content out there every single week. And also, we've got the content to talk about. There is always something to talk about, whether it's bookkeeping, websites, social media. Andy's done an episode on tech. Nisha's done an episode on social media. It's all sorts of different things, and interspersing with interviews with local business owners as well. That's worked really, really well to keep putting out more and more information. But also everything's ever evolving as well. So there's always changes. We will refer back to, I've done 2 episodes about awards now for your business. What's good awards, what's bad awards, what you can do with awards. So there's always so much to talk about. And I mean, I can talk. Anyone that knows me knows I can talk really, really well. So I do find this quite easy now. But it's that consistency of getting the information out and how much content you've got to talk about. So if you've got a bit of a question mark about a podcast and you think, oh, it's a bit much to do it every single week, doesn't have to be every single week. It could be once a fortnight. It could be once a month. It could be a short spurt of just maybe once a week for just a month. So just 4 episodes. It completely varies, and all types are out there. But that's the extent of my knowledge of that. So that's worth a email or contact Liam to discuss that a bit more about podcasts, because he's the expert on that side of things. So number 3, I do find it easier now. I can sit down. I know what I'm going to talk about. I know what points I'm going to get through. I get the structure of it. I can do the introduction. And I've done that. I started off by listening to other people's podcasts and people I really admire. There's certain podcasts that I've listened to a lot of episodes for. So I like their structure and the way because if I can relate to it, I know other people will relate to it. So it's a bit like your social media. You post and do what you'd like on social media, because if you like it, other people are going to like it, right? So it just works in that way. But it was really hard to start with. It feels really odd to sit here with 3 cameras, talking to cameras. No one's answering me. So you'll hear in certain episodes, Liam's joined me. So we've had a bit of back and forth depending on the content. If I've struggled with that, that's the interviewing's obviously not a problem. But we have had interviews where it hasn't gone to plan. It's been quite difficult to get some information out of people. And if they're not a chatter, so that was quite a hurdle to get over. So it's been really, really interesting for me. And hands up, I don't listen to my episodes back. Same with my reels, same as all my other content I do. I just can't. None of us like the way we sound. Every single person, or I don't know a single person that's like, oh yeah, I like listening back to that. And my voice, everyone's like, I sound weird. Is that what I really sound like? Is that what I really look like? The best thing is when these videos go out and the thumbnails that they clip up and automatically send, that's always a win. So 9 times out of 10, I've got 4 double chins and I've suddenly gone back, which I have actually done in this episode. So that's where it will probably freeze it that time. But even when I haven't done it, that's when it kind of tends to chop it up and send it to people, which is always a treat. So again, it's down to poor Liam and Nisha that have to edit and cut those up and send them out. But they hear me chat all the time, so they're used to it. And that's a really, really important hurdle to get over. And whether it is you're thinking of doing a podcast or social media, I would highly, highly recommend just practicing, just sat chatting like this with, especially if you've got 1 or 2 people you know and trust around as well, so they can go, oh no, maybe say it like this, or maybe do that, or yeah, that was really, really good. That's really important to have someone that puts you at ease to do that, because it's really, really difficult to sit and do it yourself. And the number of times I've messed up, or, oh, can we go back? Or we'll pause. which is great because Liam edits each episode, but also he doesn't want to spend about 5 hours editing every single episode, because I'm like, oh, I don't like that bit, or it doesn't work, or it just... So yeah, I would highly recommend anyone to have a go and have a bit of a practice. And especially if it's a podcast you do want to put out, just commit to 4 episodes. Go, do you know what? I'm just going to organise 4 episodes. We're going to set it all up, put it out, and see where it goes and what's taken from it. Because I guarantee whatever your business or your niche is or your interest is, you have a customer base, you have a client base, you will have people that want to listen to what you do. And the more niche down, the better. So if you think of someone who's really, really interested in maps, for example, geography, maps, 100%, sit and talk about them. You'll get that interaction. The other thing is people like to say you're wrong as well. So long form content is really, really good to hold people's attention and get your knowledge out there. If you really enjoy doing reels, for example, you will love doing a podcast, because if you're quite comfortable talking on camera and almost get to the point where, oh, I've only got 3 minutes, I can't talk longer than that. Well, you can. That's when you do a podcast. That's when you do longer form content. And also the bonus of this is it is being recorded at the same time. So we've got our clips for our social media to promote this episode. We've got our long form video, so you can watch the whole of this episode on YouTube. So we're not just on a podcast platform. We're not just on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're advertising it through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever that all might be. So for one piece of long form content, you've got multiple platforms. You've got multiple short form content as well. So people can Liam will chop it up and send out where it needs to be. The 4th point we've really, really learned is how many people do actually listen. So you start this and you think, oh, what if no one listens? What if I don't get any downloads? And we heavily announced it, so we got quite a few downloads. And since then, we've managed to trickle through and build it. And we've got some really loyal listeners now, which is absolutely amazing. Again, I thank you for that. But it grows and people share as well. So we used to be Business Rainbows and Unicorns. The reason for that was I'm all about the rainbows and unicorns. I'm all about the positivity. I don't know if you've seen that meme where there's a guy almost like dancing and batting away negative words. That is me. I don't do negativity. Same as reason I don't do competition. I think we should all work together and help each other. So my brain is full of rainbows and unicorns. It's always going to work out. It's always going to go really, really well. What could go wrong? It's probably why I like a bit of risk, and I will take risks for the businesses I get involved in. So that's really, really important. But it didn't help with the SEO. But we've only recently changed to the Small Business Podcast for Small Businesses. Because if you think of SEO, if you know what SEO is, search engine optimization, so i.e. wherever you're searching, if you're searching in a search bar, that's your keywords you want in there. No one, unless they know or have heard of the Breakout podcast or Breakout Business Rainbows and Unicorns, no one's going to search for that. So it started getting to the point we couldn't find new listeners. People would find us through social media, and that's great. But also, if you think how many times, if you're a podcast listener, how many times you'll go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever and search, and you'll search for it, and you'll search for, well, what do I want to listen to? I want to listen to something about a small business. You're searching for small businesses. We ain't searching for rainbows and unicorns. So that was a huge change for us, and it's really, really paid off. It's made a huge difference to our listeners and getting more and more listeners as well, which is absolutely amazing, because it's that opportunity now of, if we want to talk figures and we want to do different things, we can then approach sponsors. We can approach people we really want to interview, why they should come on our podcast. So it's a bit more data and backup to have those conversations. we still love, and our main aim, and my main goal will always be to interview local businesses that have got a story. I think that's really, really important to get people's stories out there. If they choose to use it and share it, absolutely amazing, because as I've said earlier, definitely gets you more business because people can listen to you in longer form. I mean, how often does that actually happen? In any form of marketing, how do people, when do they actually literally get to sit down and listen to you pitch? Unless you're invited in for a pitch, which is it's a difficult one. Even at networking nowadays, you get your 30 seconds or 3 minutes. I don't know what the timing is. But even that, you don't get a whole lot of time, whether you're doing a round table or speed networking, because everyone in the room needs to have a say. So it's really important to us to have businesses on here that have got a story to tell, and we'll keep chatting and chatting. I think our longest yet was Greg from Sunshine and Green, where we actually ran out of time. We need to get him back on, but it got to 3 hours and we're like, we need to go. It's been 3 hours. And I think we even put that out over 2 episodes as well. So that doesn't matter. It matters that you've got something to say and something to share. And ultimately, people will learn from that. So that as well, because I've interviewed people and maybe they can't relate to business rainbows and unicorns. That's not really their thing. And it was a bit of a question mark. Not that anyone said, but the small business podcast for small businesses has really, really paid off and really helped us. And it then does what it says on the tin. You know, you're going to look for small business advice, and this is where you're going to find it. And that's what you're going to take away from it. And my last point number 5, is I really, really love doing it. I really enjoy recording these podcasts, working with Liam, pulling it together, having the ideas and the structure, what we're going to talk about, what we're going to put out there, because ultimately 99% of the time I'm sat behind a laptop doing the everyday working for clients, and I love meeting clients as well. So that's the other thing. One of my favorite things to do is when we have maybe not taken a client on board, or it's a client where we're doing workshops or one-to-ones. So I'm sat talking to that client, getting really into their business, for like, what do you want to do? What's your problem? How can we fix it? How can we solve it? And my natural conversation, it always comes out with, they offload on me, which is absolutely brilliant, because then we pick, okay, you need help with this or you need help with that. And it might be that you don't need us to help you, or we can't help you, or it's a bit out of our remit. We have the most extensive little black book in the area. So if someone local is coming to us, we know someone who can help. Might not be us, it might be someone else. They might do the same as us. They might just work in a different way. So the podcast was just a natural fit to get that out there for free, because my time sitting down with me for an hour or 2 hours isn't free, but it's still really important to share. So our little black book got extended through those interviews. So everyone you've heard us interview is someone we recommend for what they do, to whether it's customers, so B2C customers, or other businesses, so B2B kind of stuff. Everyone we recommend and refer, we will have on the podcast and we will shout about and let people know, because that's, again, really, really important to us, and it's really, really enjoyable. So when you listen to this, or listen to me, listen to an episode, you get a kind of flavour of what I do if you come to me for a one-to-one. So it's kind of an extended advertising marketing campaign for myself, but it's never about me. It's always about you, or it's always about the person I'm interviewing. And if it is about you, it's then the natural next step, which is what has happened, is, oh, I run such and such a business, I would like more help. Okay, then we really drill down into your business, because it's really, really hard. It's, for example, when we've done social media episodes, for example, it's really hard unless we did a specific social media for cafes or episode, or social media for dog grooming, for example, it's really, really hard to give specific information. We can give an overview, like we did on the other episode recently, of what types of content, of what kind of things to put out there, but it's a complete overview for your business. And when someone's really struggling or they're feeling really alone, they just want that extra chat. So the podcast episodes are really, really fun because I know people are going to listen to them, and hopefully, well, I say hopefully, we've had messages say, oh, it was just such a light bulb moment. It was brilliant. I was like, oh, that's it. That's what I needed to know. And if it is, and you never want a one-to-one or need a one-to-one for us, or come to one of our workshops or use one of our downloads, that's absolutely fine. Our game is to help small businesses. So if we can help you in this way by listening to our podcast and watching some of our social media, and if you did listen to all our episodes and went through our social media, it would pretty much have a lot of the answers there. Not specifically directly for your business and you, but there's a general overview that you can make fit your business. So that's really, really important too, to especially, we all know when you start out a small business, unless you're very, very lucky, we're not sat here on thousands of pounds to get started. If you are, brilliant. That's absolutely amazing. And hopefully you're going into buying products and investing in some equipment. But the majority of us don't have anything to start with. So that's another side of, you can get this help for free. You can listen to podcast episodes. You can watch social media. You can watch YouTube. And it's all free knowledge and information. But then the next, as what we did last few episodes, is the next step up is, oh, I need that. Oh, we've got a download for that. So you go on our website, download it, and hopefully that talks you through something. If that's not, if you need some accountability or you want to sit and go through, say, Reels specifically for Instagram, we have a workshop for that. Canva, we have a workshop for that. You can download the Canva workshop or you can come to in person. So it's all flexed with how you learn and what works for you. For me, I have to be shown something, do it myself and practice while I can ask questions and then come back to that. So that's really, really important as well. And then the last one, which is like a good, better, best, the best is sat and we do a one-to-one and we just work on your business together, which again is what I absolutely love doing. If I can have someone go away and go, oh, I feel so much better about that, that's an absolute win in my eyes. So that's our current setup and what we do. And that's why we do the podcast as well, because I absolutely love it. Obviously, I love the feedback when someone's like, I had a call yesterday and they're like, Farley, I had your voice in my ear. I had a client come back to me and they're like, oh, it's between two of you. And oh, they're a bit cheaper. Can you do anything on price? And she turned around, she said no, because that's what I said to her. I said, I think it was from one-to-one. I said, don't ever, the minute you go for a discount for someone, you resent it somehow. You've got the business differently. What have they got over your other clients? 9 times out of 10, someone discounted will normally be a bit more difficult, or they expect a lot more from what you're doing. There's all kinds of, any business owner knows, and hopefully there's a few of you nodding along to me going, yep, I did that for free, or I added that on, or it was more hard work, or we've all seen it before on Facebook. Does anyone know a cheap and reliable plumber? Well, one, cheap and reliable doesn't go hand in hand, but don't say no to discounts. And do you know what? She said no, left them to it. They came back later that day and they booked her anyway. So it paid off, and she's booked, deposit done, and she's happy. And that's what I love that people take away from things like this. Whether you've seen me in real life, we've done a workshop, you've used one of our breakout downloads, or you've listened to a podcast episode, or just watched one of our social media posts, because I regularly put stuff out on there, or maybe our stories. If you've just taken one thing, that's it. That's a huge tick, because if we can help your business, and going back to the small business podcast, small businesses, if we can help your small business in any way, shape or form, that's a massive win for me, because I think we should all want to win, and I think we should all be successful in what we do, because you choose to do something because you absolutely love it, and that's what's important. I choose to do this because I love it. I choose to do a podcast because I love it. So have a listen, let me know what you think, and please share if you've got a favourite episode, if you've got something you've listened to and it's made a difference, it's impacted your business in some way. Please let us know, because we absolutely love it. And if you do anything on social media, tag us and share, because that would be absolutely amazing as well, because then we can share it to our following as well and let people know. So thanks for listening to our 100th podcast episode. So happy 100th episode. I was going to say birthday, then it's definitely not our 100th birthday. So happy 100th podcast episode. Thanks for tuning in. Consistency is absolutely everything, and it is paying off for us massively. So share with someone who you think would love to do a podcast, or this could help in some way, as always, and subscribe and leave a review, because it really, really helps a tiny podcast like ours, because we're not the big boys yet, but you never know. So thanks for listening.